Islanders, we are reporting on several cruise news stories on the show today. First off, Carnival Corporation reports their Q2 earnings report, and they are openly reporting that they are raising cruise ticket prices. We have that story for you on the show today. We also have a report that shows a list of cruise lines from dirtiest to cleanest cruise line. This is not a subjective list. This is a list that uses data and shares cruise lines from dirtiest to cleanest. Who made number one? And also, we are sharing the reporting yesterday in Miami as a yacht collided with a ferry and set back a lot of cruisers from getting off their respective cruises and many cruisers from starting their vacations. We all need some time in the islands. Let's go there now on Island Time. A big happy Monday to all you Islanders. We hope you had a great weekend and your Monday is off to a great start. It is time we drop our anchors. We take some time to relax in the islands together as we catch up in all the happenings in cruising and cruise news. It was a very busy weekend across the cruise industry. It was a busy weekend for us. We were away from home playing in the state tournament, baseball state tournament. We finished third in the state of Arkansas, and baseball season is over. We're sad it's over, but we're happy because we will have some newfound time to spend at home and spend doing other things. It's summertime in Arkansas. We hope that you're having a great summer. We want to invite you to this community. If you are not an official Islander yet, be sure you subscribe, ring that bell to receive notifications when we upload content. Let's start the show today in Miami, and it was a long day for cruisers whose cruises were ending. They had a great cruise, but they had planned on getting off the ship yesterday morning. It was a long day for them. It was a long day for port workers and port officials, those who oversee the operations task at the Port of Miami, and it was a long day for cruisers who are waiting to start their vacation. A long day all around Miami, Florida. You probably heard this story. It is an unfortunate one. I'll share pictures here so that you can see. We all woke up yesterday morning and saw that overnight around 2:30 a.m. an incident had taken place between a yacht, a big yacht, a 30-plus foot yacht, had collided with a Fisher Island ferry. Of course, this incident took place there in the harbor. It prompted an investigation that had to take place, and that meant that all traffic into the Port of Miami was halted. That included cruise ship traffic. 3 cruise ships were trying to get in and get passengers off the ship. It was turnaround day, get new passengers on the ship. The NCL Escape, the MSC Seascape, and the Carnival Celebration, all trying to get passengers off the ship, and they were, of course, delayed. We had Islanders on each of those 3 ships who were checking in with us, texting with us, not knowing exactly what was going on, what was happening, and how long it would take. And you can imagine the frustration of these passengers, thousands of who missed their flights. On board these 3 ships, there were 15,000 cruisers, and thousands of those 15,000 missed their flights because of the delay. The Port of Miami was closed from early morning until around 2:30 yesterday afternoon, where traffic resumed. These 3 cruise ships were able to get into the Port of Miami, offload passengers. You can imagine flights canceled, hotel reservations had to be made. Things are back to normal now. Guests were able to board the ship yesterday afternoon. The 3 ships were able to leave late into the evening, but it was just a backwards day. It was an off day. Passengers who needed to get home for work today or needed to get home to other obligations, and passengers who wanted to start their vacation. And it made me think, what would you do if you were in this situation where you thought you're going to wake up and get off the cruise ship about 8 a.m., but now you have a half day on board? There were some people on board who are saying, we are trapped, we are stuck. That was certainly not the case. We know that when we get up in the morning and it's debarkation morning, breakfast is being served. Victor and Sarah Williams were on board the Carnival Celebration. I saw Victor say, you know what? They opened up Guy's Burger. I'm going to have another Guy's Burger before I get off the ship. But it made me think, what would I do? If I had my luggage, if I checked it, I don't have it. But if I'm carrying off self-assist and I have my luggage, do I go ahead and get the swim trunks out? Do I go ahead and jump in the pool? Do I lay out a little bit? If you knew on debarkation day that you were not going to get off the ship until 3 or 4 p.m., would you treat that day like a regular cruise day and lay out in the sun and enjoy it? Or would you sit around in a public area and think, when is this going to end? When are we coming into port? When am I getting off the ship? Let us know how you would take this day in the comment section below. It's going to be interesting to see what all of you have to say. I thought it was interesting. Cruise lines were welcoming of guests dropping off their luggage. Of course, they had to check out of their hotels. I thought it was interesting as well. Carnival Cruise Line giving a $20 onboard credit for passengers to go eat lunch, find something to snack on there in Miami, and you're not out of pocket any extra money than you thought that you would have been. Carnival giving each person $20 of onboard credit. I thought that was neat. Big kudos to those port officials who are working the incident. 1 man killed, 1 man hospitalized. Prayers go out to their families. Long day, of course, for the Coast Guard, for port officials. They were able to make things happen when it was safe to do so. Big shout out to those officials in Miami. Carnival Cruise Line reporting Q2 earnings, and the stock today, if you're a stockholder, the stock price is down. Some of you have been waiting for it to go down because you want to get back in. That's totally up to you and your financial advisor, but despite great demand, Carnival Corporation lost $407 million in the quarter. That is less than expected, but there's lots of good news for Carnival Corporation in these numbers. I always remind all of us when we talk about earnings, Carnival Corporation is the parent company of Carnival Cruise Line. Carnival Corporation includes Carnival Cruise Line, Princess, P&O, and other cruise lines in that family. So when we talk about these numbers, when we talk about occupancy and paying debt, it's for the entire company, not just Carnival Cruise Line. A record second quarter for Carnival Cruise Line, $4.9 billion in revenue. That's more than double the Q2 of last year, $4.9 billion. Total bookings made during the quarter set a record for the company. Not just a Q2 record, but the number of bookings set a record for the company. That includes that 2019 year. Occupancy during the quarter and for the rest of the year will be over 100%. It was over 100% for the quarter. They expect it to be over 107% in Q3. Customer deposits, another record. The amount of money Carnival is holding and has received from passengers like you and I, it's a record, an all-time high of $7.2 billion with a B. That's how much money, how much cash liquidity is on file right now for customer deposits saying, I'm cruising with you sometime in the future. $7.2 billion. That broke the previous record by over $1 billion. A huge record there. It shows the demand of cruising. We talk about it over and over. The numbers don't lie. It's a real thing. Carnival Corporation has $7.3 billion in liquidity, and they were able to pay off over $1 billion in variable debt since the end of February, over $1 billion, and even more debt besides that. So Carnival paying off making a big dent in a lot of their debt. Chief Executive Officer Josh Weinstein shared this regarding these numbers in this report. We are already executing on our strategy to grow revenue by taking up ticket prices, raising ticket prices, even while maintaining record onboard spending levels, building occupancy and growing capacity. Based on continued growth, strength in pricing, we delivered outperformance in the second quarter and raised our expectation for revenue in the second half of the year, which, coupled with the interest expense benefit we are capturing from deleveraging, will bring another $275 million to our bottom line for the year. Carnival Cruise Line raising their guidance, but Josh Weinstein points out a couple of things. Number one, we are taking up our ticket prices, and they can do that because the demand is strong. Many of us have shared, I'm paying more for my cruises than I've paid in a long time. Yeah, Carnival Corporation knows it. Royal Caribbean Group, they know that. They like that. It's helping pay off debt. It's helping invest in current ships and future projects. And then Josh pointed out as well, maintaining record onboard spending levels. I don't know how they're doing this, but they are doing it. I'll be the first to admit Amanda and I are spending more money, continue to spend more money on board than we ever have. Are you doing the same? Let us know in the comment section below if you're spending more money than you ever have on board. Josh Weinstein doing a great job leading Carnival Corporation. That is their Q2 numbers. We'll see what Q3 and the rest of the year holds. The big question, and Carnival Corporation says they can do it. Can you become cash flow positive? Instead of losing over $400 million in a quarter, can you become cash flow positive by the end of 2023? They say yes. Stay tuned. Let's see what they do. Clean places to stay. We all hope for clean places to stay, whether it's a hotel room, an all-inclusive resort, or a cruise ship cabin. We want clean places to stay. Cruise Fever has put together an interesting article that shares based on recent scores, CDC inspection scores. They've put together the top 15 cruise lines when it comes from dirtiest to cleanest cruise lines. Twice a year, cruise ships are given the surprise inspection from the CDC Vessel Sanitation Program, VSP. It's a surprise. They don't know that it's coming. They come into port and they're told that day, hey, good morning. This is one of your 2 inspection days. They are random. They're unannounced. They are graded on a 100-point scale. In order to pass, cruise ships have to receive an 86 in order to pass. Mama told me that C's got degrees. 86 is a high score. But when you're talking about cleanliness, it's fair. Anything that's an 85 or below will prompt a second test that is in close relation to that first test. No matter the ship or cruise line, the inspection takes place generally the same. The same inspection takes place. The same areas are checked. 8 places are checked. The medical facility, thank goodness, that makes sense, right? Portable water systems, swimming pools and spas, galleys and dining rooms, child activity centers, hotel accommodations, which are cabins, ventilation systems, and common areas of the ship. Every cruise ship, every cruise line, they use that same metric, so everyone is on a level playing field. The findings are shared with senior officers. That day, the initial findings are shared, and then within just a couple of weeks, a final report is shared with the cruise line itself. Here are the top 15. This is from dirtiest to cleanest. Now, the dirtiest it's an average score of a 93.2. So we're not saying someone scored a 50 or a 60 as a cruise line. We've seen individual scores low. MSC had a low score not too long ago. But the lowest score at number 15 is a 93. Still a good score. Regent 7 Seas is number 15. Number 14, MSC Cruises, 93.3. Number 13, Carnival Cruise Line. Number 13, average score of 95.8. A great score, but there are other cruise lines who did better. That was number 13. Number 11, Oceania Cruises with a 96. Number 10, Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection. Number 9, Norwegian Cruise Line at a 96.2. Number 9, Holland America Line. Number 8, Silver Sea Cruises. Number 7, Virgin Voyages. They haven't been in the game long, but number 7 with the 96.5. Princess Cruises came in at number 6 with a 96.6. Royal Caribbean, number 5. Those loyal to Royal, 96.7 was your average score. Number 4, Seabourn, 97.3 score. Number 3, Celebrity Cruises, 98.1 is an impressive score. Number 3, Celebrity, that's pretty cool. Number 2, Viking, 99.3. And number one, Disney Cruise Line comes in 99.8%. A 99.8. That is impressive. Disney coming in at number 1. What was your surprise? It does not surprise me. Disney comes in at number 1. It does surprise me, though, at some of those bigger brands who came in from 10 to 15. Carnival Cruise Line coming in 13. MSC 14. It's impressive, but still, these scores, I want to emphasize, are impressive. We're not saying that these cruise ships, these cruise lines are dirty. These scores are actually pretty good. Check out some of your local sanitation and health department checks on your local restaurants. You would be surprised. The scores are not this good, I can promise you. Islanders, that is the show today. That is the cruise news for today. We hope you enjoyed the show. If so, like this video. It is one click. Bam. Click, make sure you're there. Also, take just a second to share your thoughts on the different things that we discussed today. We'd love to see your comments in the comments section below. We will see you there on our Facebook page and tomorrow right here on Island Time.